Today's lecture is about a concept called reading comprehension. Reading comprehension in simple terms means you're given something to read, and after reading, are you able to comprehend or understand it or not? You will be given some sort of extract or a book to read, and then you're supposed to understand it. There may be various methods of reading something. The method that we are going to learn today in today's class is called KWL method of reading. K stands for something that a learner already knows. For instance, I gave you, let's say, autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi. In the section K, what you are supposed to do is you will be asking yourself, what is it that you know? Not in the interrogative sense, but in the affirmative sense. So in the section K, which means what you already know, you have to write down those points which you know about Mahatma Gandhi with respect to the autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi that you have been given to read, or any other person's autobiography, or any kind of book. So in the K section, you are supposed to write whatever you already know without even reading the autobiography, without even reading that particular book. In this, you need to ask yourself, and you also need to jot down whatever you know about that particular topic, particular given topic, not a random topic, but particular given topic or a book. Which means, suppose this is a book on, let's say, Einstein, and this book I am supposed to read. So in the K section, whatever I know about Einstein, that I'm supposed to write before even opening the book. For instance, I know that Einstein was a sort of a theoretical physicist, and if it was a book on Mahatma Gandhi, then in the K section, you are supposed to write something that you know about Mahatma Gandhi. For instance, he was born in Gujarat. Just a simple point. You can also write that he is known in contemporary India as father of our nation. Without even reading the given book or topic, you are supposed to write whatever you know about that particular topic, which simply means that as a learner, you should have a slight idea about that given topic. It doesn't mean that you will have a complete idea about that. Next, we come to the W part. W part is that section in which learner needs to write whatever she or he wants to know. W stands for what a learner would like to know from that particular topic. For instance, about Einstein. So you might want to know how many times did Einstein get married. You might want to know about whether Einstein visited India or not. It could entail questions. You can ask questions related to the topic. It will be an exam. So in the exam, you will be given over there. You will not be given the book, complete book. So you can read it already. When you're writing something in the W section, you're not supposed to ask the questions in the W section which is already given on paper, because you can read it. If it was a book can be closed and open. So the book is closed. You have not started reading, so you don't know what the book contains. But if it is an exam, you already know what is in the exam. So in the W section, it could be a slight dilemma or confusion for you, because many of the students in the exam previously, they asked the same thing which was there in the letters. So you are not supposed to ask that. You are supposed to ask what you want to know about the given topic. It need not necessarily be inside the topic. And you can ask this in terms of questions. Why you need to ask such questions? You need to ask such questions because it can create, or it can make you pay attention towards what you are reading. Then we come to L section. L stands for what you finally learn. So in the K section, you write what you already know, but it need not be in interrogative sentences. You're not asking question in the K section. In the W section, you will write those things in the form of questions, whatever you want to know. In the L section, you will write those points which you have finally learned. L stands for learn. That is, once you have gone through the given topic, what did you learn? Then you write it down. Let's now understand it through Einstein's biography's example. Let's now make the KWL method. We are calling it KWL method of reading. Let's just make these sections. K stands for know, which means what you already know about the given topic. W stands for want to know, that is what is it that you would like to know through that particular given topic. And L stands for learn. What is it that you learned after having gone through the given topic? So example is Einstein's biography. What is it that most of us know about Einstein? We know about Einstein something like this: E equals mc square. This is something that we know. Next point, this is something which I observed: unkempt hair, which means he would not properly comb those hair, especially once he had shifted to America. Next, that we already know that he was a remarkably intelligent person. Next, perhaps we also know about his nationality. I can claim that I know about his nationality. I can also claim that I know about his profession, being a scientist. These are some of the things that, as far as I am concerned, if I am given to read Einstein's biography, so before reading about Einstein, not just his biography but any book, so these are the points that I can write in the column of K, which means what I already know about Einstein or anything related to Einstein before opening the book. What are other points that I know? For instance, his leisure activities. I know about that also. For instance, played violin. He also loved walks in the wood. He also loved boating. These are the leisure activities that I know about as far as Einstein is concerned. So we are still in the know section. I know about leisure activities that Einstein used to do. For instance, playing violin, long walks in the woods, and boating. I also know about another interesting fact about Einstein, that he loved writing love letters. Did you know that? So these are the points that I already know about Einstein before even reading his biography. Let's now move to W section. So for instance, I would like to know about E equals mc square. I want to know about E equals mc square. That is, how did Einstein discover E equals mc square? What were those circumstances that he was able to create such a short equation which contains all the secrets of nature? Second thing that I want to know about from this autobiography: fashion of his time. I want to know whether Einstein followed the fashion of his time or not. When we see Einstein's photographs, perhaps those photographs are before he shifted to America. So in those photographs, you will see that he is very well dressed. Next thing that I want to know about Einstein is schooling and education. I want to know through this autobiography, how did Einstein perform at school? What kind of a student was he? Did he fail in mathematics? I also want to know about his job prospects. Did he get job right after graduating from ETH? ETH was the school where he was studying. I'll just write it down. How did he perform at school? Did he fail at mathematics? Did he get a job after graduating from the ETH? I also want to know something like, very important, I want to know whether Einstein consider himself German, whether he had doubts about himself being a German person, being a German national. I also want to know what are the requirements to become a scientist. Did Einstein have those qualities? So this is also something that I would like to know as a curious person. I am also interested in knowing the leisure activities. For instance, the contribution of leisure activities in the development of a person in general, as well as if that person is a student. So I would like to know, how do leisure activities contribute to development of a person? What is the use or significance of all these leisure activities? For instance, some of you would like to play chess or play cricket or football, something like this, right? As a person who will read Einstein's biography, I would like to also know, because I know that he was very much interested and he undertook so many leisure activities. and that's why I'm also curious to know how do the leisure activities contribute to a person's development. I'm curious about his personal life. I would like to ask this question: whether his personal life created some sort of impedance to his professional development. In simple terms, I want to know whether a person's personal life can harm her or his professional life. For instance, Einstein's marriages. He married multiple times. He's supposed to be a great thinker, great person, great scientist, and I'm surprised how could a person who kept on marrying one after another, how is that he was able to maintain this balance between personal life and the professional life? Why his personal life did not affect his professional life? Another question that I would like to know as far as Einstein's life is concerned is this: how many times did Einstein marry? So all these questions that I have asked in the W section, in the want to know section, all these questions are sometimes related to the given topic that I am supposed to read and comprehend, and sometimes perhaps they are not also related to it. They may be related to Einstein, but perhaps the biography may not be dealing with that. In any case, these two sections are mostly dependent on you. These sections are not dependent on the task at hand, which is reading and understanding or comprehending the biography. So these were the two sections. Let's now move to the third section. What you are going to see here on the board, that is based on my reading of the biography of Einstein. Your reading might be different. What I came to learn is how did Einstein discover it, what it means, okay? So perhaps I didn't find how he discovered it, okay? Or maybe I was not able to pinpoint how he discovered it, but I was able to pinpoint and understand what E equals mc square meant, which means increased relativistic mass, which is m, of a body times the speed of light squared, which is c square, is equal to the kinetic energy, which is E in capitals, of that body. Another thing that I learned from the biography was application of this E equals mc square. So supposedly it was used in nuclear bomb making. Then about fashion, another thing that I learned from the autobiography was that perhaps he was not much of a follower of fashion of his time. Although we do have photographs in which he looks just exactly like other persons, he was not much of a follower of fashion of his time, especially when it comes to hair. I had also asked a question about his schooling. Let's see what I came to learn about his schooling. This is what I came to know. So he was a below average student. He became, or he is known as, a very intelligent, remarkably intelligent person, but he was a below average student. He did not fail mathematics, but after graduation he did not get a job. So don't lose heart if you don't get job before or after your graduation. Consider yourself an Einstein. So about nationality, he was born German, right? But became a Swiss citizen. I had also asked about what are the requirements to become a scientist. By reading Einstein's biography, I came to know that curiosity and inquisitiveness, these are the two primary tendencies that a person should have to become a scientist. That you should be always curious about things, especially about nature, right? And inquisitiveness, you should always ask questions. Einstein was like that. And leisure activities, because we have Einstein's life in front of us, so we know that leisure activities played a hugely important part in his life, okay? So if he had not been engaged in leisure activities, perhaps we would not have seen him as a great person, right? Leisure activities do play a very important role in development of one's personality, mind. And about personal life, of course, we know that he married multiple times. Thank you.